Okay, you've bought this Craftsman 10-inch table saw, see the model number there, and you're wondering, how the heck do I get those legs together and on this machine? Now, if you read the instructions like I did, that was a mistake. They were very confusing. I ended up just looking at the pictures and looking at the pictures on the box to figure out how to do it. But somebody had asked if I could do a video for this, and it made sense. It actually took me, I think, 4 attempts to get this right. So you see you've got your leg assembly there. I've actually kind of started it for you to speed things along. These brackets are part of that. And then you have 4 bolts, 4 wing nuts, and then you've got this other nut and bolt assembly. This is actually on the hinge. These are what hold the legs onto the bottom of your saw. You're also going to need some tools. The manual calls for a 13-inch wrench, or a 13mm wrench. This is just obviously an adjustable. It's easier. You also need, it says a 5mm in the manual. I don't think that's right. I think that's a little bit small. I found that the T40 Torx is a pretty good size for it. And also, if you're using just regular old Allen wrenches, a 7/32 or maybe something close to that does it. A 1/4 inch is too big. So yeah, it's tricky, but like I said, the T40 seemed like it was a pretty good fit. So let's show you how this works. Yeah, please ignore the instructions. They do not help. So you see the way I've got things laid out right now. I have this little flange here and this little flange here. They're meeting each other in the middle there. They're kissing each other. And then you have your legs. These legs come in pieces, which you may have seen if you've already opened your box. And one of the legs is different. That's the one that has the adjuster on it. I don't think there is any difference in what you need to do in order to assemble this properly. You can stick that one anywhere you like. But you see the way that I've got the legs laid out? It says in the manual to make it look like a V. This to me does not look like a V at all. I actually ended up with the opposite of what they wanted by following that advice. So yeah, you want to have the legs stuck in like this so that you have pairs of them that are going in the same direction, you know, opposite ends of your leg assembly. Okay, you're also going to notice that you have holes that go through, well, some of them go all the way through these legs and some of them don't. That's the key. You need to find the holes that don't go all the way through, where they don't have a matching hole on the other side of the tube. And the reason for that is because these brackets, they have this little nub that is sticking out. This nub here is what's going to go into that hole that doesn't go all the way through. So here's an example. I found this hole here. There's no corresponding hole on the other side. That's the one that this little nub's going to go through, and you need to make sure that you're twisting the leg so that the holes here between this tube part and this tube part line up with each other, so this little nub makes it in. Okay, you've done that side, you do the other side. This hole here, there's no corresponding hole on the other side. That's the one that that little nub has to go into. Okay, and when you've done that, you'll have this flange piece here, which when you're opening your table legs, it opens like scissors. So this part's going to come up, and when it swings up, it ends up resting on that spot, and that's how it holds itself open. In order to do that, you need to have these other bits here. You've got your nuts and bolts and your T40 or something equivalent in Allen, maybe a 7/32, and then that's supposed to be about a 13mm gap. That's a little bit bigger than a 1/2 inch wrench. So I'm going to try, hopefully I'm able to do this pretty seamlessly for you guys to show you how to do this. Now it says to put your bolts in. I don't think it matters if you have the Allen part sticking out or if you have it on the inside of the legs. So you see I've managed to get that through. Make sure you have everything aligned, and then you're gonna, of course, put your nuts on. This should be easy enough for you guys. But the key, I think, was lifting up the legs where they meet, like where I said they were kissing, just a little bit, so that it helps you to get that alignment that you need. And you see I'm doing that here. A little bit of wiggling of the legs does not hurt. It helps to get things to go through, and you may have to twist the end of your leg tubes in order to get it to slide through. But you see I'm doing this while it's laying down like this. Everything kind of falls apart if you don't do it while it's laying down. So then you take your Allen key or your Torx wrench and your 13 millimeter and just start tightening it up. Once it's not completely loose, you're going to be able to just open this up and complete the assembly, I think, while it's standing up. So let's try that. And you swing it open, and you see how it ends up laying on those flanges, so it's holding itself open. That's great. That makes finishing tightening this stuff easier. And so the way I do it is I just keep the Allen key or the Torx in place and tighten the other side. But whatever. This, I don't need to completely tighten this up for you. You understand what's going on. So then what you're going to do is you're going to pick up your table. It says to do this with 2 people. I do recommend that. I don't have a second person. I'm doing this on my own. That's, you could hurt yourself doing it that way. So I do recommend that you have a buddy to help you with this. But the key is, obviously you don't want to bend your back when you're doing this. Do the work with your knees. But yeah, try and do it with a buddy. So anyway, I have set that in place into those V channels. Hopefully you can see that, where the tube is supposed to rest. And there are corresponding holes here. You've got holes here and on the other side of the machine, and then you've got holes in the V tube where your nuts and bolts are going to go. And of course you have to make sure that those things are aligned with each other. And again, this is probably going to involve some wiggling, but you can eyeball where things are supposed to end up, and then you install your wing nuts just by hand. Obviously, wing nuts are designed to be hand tightened, and that makes it easy when it comes time for you to disassemble it, of course, because you don't have to go find any tools to be able to do this. And you're just gonna obviously continue to add these things on. You may not need to see anything else with the video at this point, but I'm gonna finish it up because, well, I need my saw back, but I also want you to have the satisfaction of seeing it finished. Like I said, there's gonna be wiggling involved to make sure that this stuff fits. It's not gonna be perfect when you're trying to get things lined up. Just finger tighten it, get it good and tight, but not so tight that you won't be able to get it apart again, or your buddy or your wife won't be able to take it apart if need be. And the nice thing about this this set of table legs is when you're all tightened up, and I am, when you fold this up, it folds up, like I said, like scissors. It folds flat so that you can put it onto a wall. You can just hang it by either end of this and it's on the wall. Well, there you go. Those are the legs assembled. Make sure that you get these things good and tight, but not so tight that you can't do that scissor motion with the legs anymore. That's something that it says in the manual. Just make sure it's not too tight that you can't close it and open it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it's helpful to you and you won't have to deal with the same frustration I did when I put the legs together.